Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome to another episode of Kofi's Takes, where I'll be looking at foreign language and international movies. Today I'll be looking at Apocalypto, the 2006 Mayan-based end-of-times apocalyptic action thriller horror, well, not exactly a horror, but a film with horrifying events nonetheless. I'll start off with a quick recap of the film, and then I'll get into my thoughts once done. Before I do start though, if you are listening on YouTube, give me a comment and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date, and the same goes for Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anything else you're listening on. We start off in a remote village in Yucatan, Mexico, following the story of Jaguar Paw, a native of one tribe who are shown hunting for food, and after catching a wild boar with a brutal and well thought out trap, they encounter another frightened tribe of refugees who are fleeing from their old lands that had been ravaged. They ask permission to pass through the forest, and they're granted by the tribe's leader and Jaguar Paw's father, Flint Sky. Jaguar becomes interested in the face of some of the refugees as he sees something he hasn't before. His father describes it to him as fear and says that they were infected by it and that he should never let it in. They return to their village, and the next day the entire village is subject to a raid by the Mayans, who set fires, beat up and murder a lot of the tribe and capture the remaining survivors and take them prisoner. Jaguar Paw quickly uses a rope to let his pregnant wife and young son down in a pit as to hide, just before he also gets captured. During this, he almost kills one of the Mayans but doesn't succeed, which leads the Mayan warrior known as Middle Eye to give him the nickname Olak, which means almost. Then, learning that Flint Sky is Jaguar Paw's father, he lets Jaguar Paw watch as he slits his father's throat. The remaining captives are tied together and set on through the jungle, leaving the remaining children to fend for themselves. Once they do reach the Mayan city, the women are sold off into slavery and the men are taken to the top of a huge pyramid to be sacrificed in front of the king, queen and a Mayan god, I do believe. We have a very visceral and bloody sacrifice, and just as Jaguar Paw gets put on the altar to have his head axed off, we have a solar eclipse, signalling to me that the Mayan gods were satisfied and the ceremony comes to an end. The captives aren't scot-free yet though. They are let go free if they can escape the Mayans and their surprisingly amazing aim, basically being told if you can outrun these spears, you're free. Nobody escapes, apart from Jaguar Paw, who murders the Mayan chief's son, prompting an intense and authentic chase through the jungle where Jaguar Paw recollects his father's advice about fear and slowly but surely kills the Mayans chasing him. During all of this, his family is still trapped in that underground pit, filling up quickly with rainwater as his wife gives birth down there, and Jaguar Paw gets back just in time to save them, nearly falling in himself but saving them nonetheless. The film ends with the sight of ships making their way ashore, prompting us to be unsure whether there's any danger left to come. Jaguar Paw and his family retreat into the jungle and the film ends. Wow. Super story. And even though the film did turn a lot of people off because they didn't use any English and it was subtitled, if you've seen the film, you'll know that it played absolutely no difference in how engaging and entertaining it was. Mel Gibson should take a bow. This was the first film that got me into non-English films, and I'm sure that I'll be watching them for a very long time to come. The language they speak in the film is called Yucatec Mayan, basically a language built from the Mayans that's actually still spoke today in Mexico and Belize. I'm not sure if the actors knew the language before they filmed, but if they did, they get an even bigger thumbs up from me because their acting was incredible. Beyond incredible, actually. Even the young actors in it were extremely capable. There's this one scene with a girl, here she is for those of you watching on YouTube, who is visibly vulnerable and upset until she gets smacked with a stick so hard she becomes possessed and delivers them a chilling foreshadow of the end of times, mentioning to beware of the man who brings the jaguar. I know, right? Anyway, Rudy Youngblood and Morris Bird Yellowhead, two of the main actors, yep, that's his real name. They got awards for outstanding performances, obviously, and there were too many awards and nominations for other things that I can't decide to talk about. There was a lot of flack also given to Mel Gibson for how much blood and gore was used, but it was definitely needed to push the visuals to the next level. That included the costumes and set design, production and score, obviously. This film will easily get a 9 out of 10 any day in my book. Again, if you haven't seen the film and would like to, please get it watched. It's a masterpiece, unless you're a history nerd. Well, that was my review of 2006's Apocalypto. If you like the channel, remember, subscribe, like, comment, do all you can to give us a bit of a hand. Bye for now.